Oh boy, we're balls deep in the Squarebody here. The clutch was absolutely pooched into it for the last little while, and before it destroyed my new flywheel that I bought, I figured I'd change it. So as you can see, all the fibers wore off. There's a little bit there left in the center part, and here it's got a nasty old ridge. So that thing is totally shot. So what I did was I ordered an Pact. That I believe was an AMS, but this one here is the stage 1.5. So I believe it's rated for somewhere around 450 horsepower, which we're not going to exceed that. So here's a little brief write-up they give you, and all new parts and pieces, and away you go. So what we did, we just tied the back shaft up. We didn't take it out. We just undid the front of the front drive shaft, so that's still hooked to the transfer case. We left the cross member in, which everybody tells you to take out, and we just slid it back, and we've got it standing here on the jack stand to death. And up in here is my spline. Now, I'm not sure what kind of ritual it's going to be to get this all plugged back together. I'm sure it's going to be a gong show, but anyway, it's nice, heavy gear to work with, but I've got the new clutch sitting in place. I just got to torque my bolts up, and away we go putting this thing back together. But pretty simple, just speedometer cable and this little side mount doohickey for the clutch and the linkage or whatever. So nothing too crazy. I think we had it out just over an hour, so get her back together and hopefully be back on the road. All right, boys, well, she's all back together. I'm gonna tell you one thing right now. You want a crew of fellas around when it comes time to lift that SOB back into place, because it's about as heavy as, well, probably as heavy as anything you'll ever want to try to lift, we'll put it that way. And it was pretty evil getting it lined back up. We ended up not actually getting it fully plugged together in the end. We ended up drawing it with the bell housing bolts. The last little bit, there was just no way we could bring it. So anyway, it's all together. Clutch is adjusted. It grabs like all get out. I've stalled it quite a few times because it's just on or off. There's really not much riding it. But it's still just getting broke in as well. So immediately after putting the clutch in, when we were adjusting it up last night, we noticed that we had bigger problems to deal with. Well, not bigger, but just as big. Not sure where the light went. Maybe you can see it without the light, but anyway, the old cab mount decided to calf out on us today, so that broke off. I went to a buddy's place, cut one off of his frame, and come back here, cut mine off, and took it all apart, fixed it. Got the thing sitting back up about half level. Still not quite perfect, but I guess it's close enough. You know what I mean? It's an old work truck. So on the way back this morning, the heater blew all to pieces. So we're getting that tore apart now to see the damage in there, but I'm guessing it's just going to be a bunch of plastic pieces, nothing connected to the motor, because it absolutely obliterated itself. Oh, new terminals onto her. Got new injectors into her.
She's gonna be up to snuff here in a minute.
Oh man, we might have the exhaust leak fixed. Might have the clutch adjusted a little better. Man, that thing's hard to push. And I actually hurt my back yesterday ripping and tearing on this thing, so it's not the most comforting thing to drive. So hopefully this charade will soon be over, and the only other thing I should probably do is get these wheel wells cleaned back out, get some new self-tappers, and put my wheel wells back in so all this airbag gear and stuff don't get rusted to obliteration this winter. So, always lots to do. Cab looks like it's sitting pretty level now though. Hey, look at that. That's much better. Holy jumping Rooney. That puppy is level. Well, fellas, I wanted to wait a while before I did the conclusion for this clutch video and the Squarebody. We just got hit with some snow, obviously, in the last little bit. Things have been pretty busy. It's almost Christmas time. Merry Christmas to everybody watching. Appreciate you wasting your time watching my videos. It's great. So anyway, I wanted to drive this truck a while and make sure that I could actually say that I'm happy with the clutch and that it grabs good and all that jazz. And absolutely 150%. This clutch has a really stiff pedal under your foot. So it's got some serious clamp force to it when you let it out. It's kind of a little bit tricky to ride it where it's stiffer than the last one, but to say the least, I'm running the 37 still on it, and this thing grabs like God almighty. I pulled the trailer with it. It pulled the trailer great, no issues at all. And I mean, again, for the price, it's pretty hard to beat a $129 clutch kit and you're back up and running and your truck has full power again. So we got her inspected, so she's good for another 2 years. And the heat's not real strong in it. It's been super cold the last few days, so I actually broke down and got the 8.1 out and drove that a little bit and burnt some fuel. So I suspect shortly after Christmas, this one will be back in use full time once we get hit with this next shot of snow. This thing is a little expensive to drive with the fuel prices the way they are. And I have been running the 540 as well, but that's going to get put away because I really don't like getting it full of salt and all that stuff. So got to find a box for this truck and or either build a box or put a new one on, a new used one, and build an exhaust. This needs a little bit of work again, so it never ends. But hopefully in the near future we'll be able to get the kitty cats out and get some good videos of these things. I'm really hoping that we get dumped on a super amount, but it's pretty high hopes here in Nova Scotia to get that nowadays, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, long story short, the clutch and the Squarebody works absolutely great now. Super happy with it. So, and another thing I'm really happy with is these RA8000 tires that I bought. Drove this around in some slushy snow the last few days, and these are a great winter tire, all around tire, whatever. Super happy with those as well. So you guys all have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and we'll see you before too long.